I don't even like to use the word happiness. That's just a fleeting feeling. It can just go so up and down. I don't want to chase that feeling.
Do you get a rush of purpose when you start a new series? Do you constantly anticipate and think about upcoming movies and games? Do you find yourself expecting them to turn your life around, make you feel extremely happy? Do you feel empty after? Today, I would like to discuss the concept of gambling your happiness, or alternatively, looking for temporary meaning in various types of media. We all have done this in some way. From binge watching to getting excited for the next Marvel movie, it is very natural to indulge in these types of behaviors. But I want to highlight the dark side of this habit. There are very significant consequences for becoming too dependent on these forms of entertainment for happiness and fulfillment. First, I want to narrate the moment I finally realized how I was too reliant on these things for joy. Then, I will dive into how we can overcome this problem, mainly by shifting our mindset away from how we normally view movies, shows, and games, followed by what their replacement could be. Let's get started. I want to share the story of how I finally realized I had the problem of discussion. I think by hearing this, you will probably find an instance where the same happened with you in your life. Let me know what comes to mind. With that said, let's begin by going back 2 years to 2019, the final pre-pandemic year of our lives. The chain of events started in April with the first teaser for the movie The Rise of Skywalker. I am a huge Star Wars fan, so obviously I was excited for the movie. I remember watching it for the first time with my brother, hearing Palpatine's laugh in a complete state of euphoria. Fast forward to August, and we got another trailer for the upcoming movie. This is when it started to get unhealthy. I started to watch this trailer a little too often, but in the moment, I didn't see a problem with that. I love Star Wars, and I was getting pumped up for the new movie. However, when the final trailer came in October, I began to notice the consequences, or rather, feel them. I started to watch this trailer almost every day. For example, I would watch it while I was waiting for school to start. I would watch it during lunch. I would watch it going home. I would watch it at night. I would get this rush of excitement, a mix of fantasizing and being entranced by the loud and epic music. Then, after 3 minutes, it was all over, and I realized I was back in reality. What I was left with after was a low feeling that harmed my enjoyment of the rest of the day. This became a cycle I couldn't escape, because honestly, I didn't want to get out at that time. I was leaning on this movie for happiness, only I was becoming too attached. See, without realizing it, my expectations for this movie were becoming impossibly large. It wasn't even related to how good or bad it would be, but rather how I would feel while watching it. I expected this life-changing experience that would carry me through a tough senior year. Finally, release day came. Honestly, it was great at first. It was the night before the final school day of the year. I went with 2 of my friends. We were having a good time waiting for the movie to start. But the alarms began to go off as the movie progressed. Many realizations materialized in my head, but the biggest one was simple. I was completely disappointed. Before I knew it, my friend had dropped me off at my house, and as I stood in my driveway for a moment, all I could think was, that's it? As I walked up to my door, the emptiness peeked in, and I could now see what my poor habits had done to me. Over those next few weeks, I made several other conclusions that I would like to share with you, so you can quit gambling your happiness too. Ever since this episode, I have constantly thought about how I fell into this negative habit and what I could do to get out. Upon thinking, I have developed several reflections that I'm sure you can connect with as well. Firstly, let me explain why gambling my happiness on this movie was so unhealthy for my well-being. For one, the outcome of this event was completely out of my control. Obviously, I was not taking part in creating The Rise of Skywalker, and my fixation on the film surely did not affect whether it would be excellent or terrible. It was simply irresponsible of me. I wagered my feelings on a thing that was not meant to bring me that kind of lasting joy. That brings me to another point. I realized that this had been a much longer pattern in my life, where I would jump from series to movie to game, looking for permanent joy but only finding a fleeting sense of meaning. Every single time, I had this underlying expectation that the next experience would catapult me to a happy life. But of course, it never happened. Behind all of this was a deeper issue at play, a crushing sense of emptiness and unfulfillment with life. I just didn't feel like I was doing anything worthwhile, but I kept telling myself that everything would change if I had that new show to watch or that new game to play. I needed to accept that my current relationship with this stuff was completely unhealthy and lopsided. Things like movies and TV should be an outlet to relax, a reward for seizing the day. For me though, I had zero self-control. Like I said earlier, I would watch movie trailers before I had even accomplished a single task. While I have been talking negatively about this behavior a lot, I want to reiterate that you can engage with these pieces of entertainment, but you need to be aware of how they affect you. You need to have a balance between having these sources of enjoyment and a more personal endeavor that brings you just as much, if not more, fulfillment. Let's talk about how we can find that. Finding something that brings your life fulfillment is much easier said than done. On top of that, this kind of project doesn't just drop into your life the next day. However, this is what you need to search for in order to achieve the balanced lifestyle we are looking at. For me, it wouldn't happen until the end of 2020, when I finally decided I was going to give content creation a legitimate shot. Over the course of this year, this project has gradually replaced my dependency on entertainment, and I'm going to dive into why I am in a much healthier place. Firstly, I am not watching a 3-minute trailer. There is a gradual buildup. I need to put in hours of work to make progress. But that's the best part. It is earned fulfillment, and that is the biggest point I want you to remember. You need to find something that you can earn, where you need to actually put in effort to get results. Think about how easy it is to just turn on your television or click that YouTube link. You will not get the fulfillment you really want by engaging with these habits. Moving on, another healthy component of my replacement is the fact that it doesn't end. I can continue to make my weekly videos and TikToks. And once again, it is up to me on whether I want to be consistent. In doing so, I am training myself to seek that accomplishment of making something I am proud of. And so I have developed the drive to keep going. Now I ask you, what can you do? There are many other things besides what I do right now that can serve as a replacement, but it has to be big. You need to be challenged by this project. It needs to be an activity that you can chase consistently, while also improving the quality of your life in the process. To conclude this section, I want to offer one final reminder. No movie, series, or game will ever make your life complete. If you expect that, disappointment will always follow. Instead, look for a call to action that you can actually work towards. That will give you what you desire. To close out, I want to give you some quick tips to keep in the back of your head. First, be patient with your search, especially in the beginning. You can dedicate 15 minutes on the first day, then work your way up from there. Next, if you relate to being dependent on entertainment, take a detox break. Go 1 week without watching a movie or playing a game. See how you feel after. Finally, even if you can't find that really fulfilling activity to do, I want you to at least try this. Make these sources of entertainment a reward for completing tasks like homework or chores. Build self-control. Don't indulge early in the day, and I think you will feel better about yourself after. Trust me, the more you lose your expectations, the less frequently you'll get that low feeling after finishing that show. And with that said, this has been Dark Horse, and I will see you in the next video.